or focus, that drive that pushes. Photographer made it happen. Fashion design made it happen. Author made it happen. Artist made it happen. I'm here to tell you it takes focus and drive to push yourself to achieve your special place in life. You made it happen. I'm Linda Johnson, your host, and welcome to They Made It Happen. So the summer is really upon us. What is it, like half gone already? This is August. And what have you guys been doing? What have you been doing to really enjoy your summer and to, enjoy the sunlight and being out of the house before we have to, if you live in the north, go back in and shut it down and just be in those four walls in whatever room you're in, unless you really enjoy the snow and ice, and which I do not. Then you can go skiing, and I know you have that to look forward to, or whatever outdoor sports or activities you embark upon in the winter for those of you that enjoy that. But I really don't. Not that I won't go skiing, because I will a couple of times, or try to do something to get out of the house. But we had our vaccines. I'm just going to talk about this for just a moment or so. The vaccines are out, and I've had mine, and no shame if you haven't. That's not what this is about. But I've had my vaccines, and I've had them both, just two doses, for the ones that I had. And I had my second dose back in April. Super excited about it. Still glad that I did it. So then the summer comes, and the state started to relax their measures, and all the safety, um, regarding, not being able to go to restaurants and go to the attractions. And now you can, a couple of months ago. So I'm traveling this summer. I've gone a few places, and I've really enjoyed myself. Really enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to wear my mask in shopping areas and shopping centers and the malls and going into restaurants, even though the staff, pretty much wherever I've gone, have been wearing their masks and so forth, and gloves, and I like that. I think that is a good thing. And it's like, yay, rah rah, we're out here in the world. It's getting much better. And then the Delta variant just like hits you in the face in terms of it's everywhere now. And then so all that freedom we enjoyed, now we've had to start to or begin to wear a mask again in crowded situations, especially indoors. So is anyone else out there like me? It's like, man, are we ever going to get beyond this? So this crazy virus is just keeps mutating and becoming more vicious and more strong. So now it's affecting our little ones and those who haven't been vaccinated. And what I also know is that the vaccines are not 100%. They're not 100%. They're 90 plus percent effective, which means there's a little window of opportunity for you to still become infected with COVID. The good thing about that is, you won't become significantly ill, and more than likely you will not die. And that's a good thing. So I'm glad I took the vaccine. But I was hoping that we would be more safe against the Delta variant. And I guess we just don't know enough about it, but we do know that it's very vicious and it's aggressive, and our little ones are being sick now in ICU, and some of them unfortunately have succumbed to this Delta variant. What I want you all to know is, do whatever is right. Do whatever you feel that you need to do to be safe. If that means you have to stop going out a lot and doing fun things, then so be it. Hopefully, things will get better in the upcoming months. I still believe in science. I trust the science that is, helping us, because that's what we've trusted in past decades and years, where we've got other vaccines on board that we use, and it keeps us safe and it keeps us alive. So I'm just going to say this: if you haven't um, gotten your vaccine, maybe you want to do a little bit more research on your own, talk to your doctors, visit your doctors, and think about getting it. Right now, at this point in time, about half the country are fully vaccinated. And we need a lot more people to become fully vaccinated so that we can really get on top of this. And that's just my belief. And that's my belief. And that's just where I'm at with it. So just give it some more thought, meditate about it, pray about it, read about it, study whatever you need to study. Because I think once we're all, or the majority of the country is vaccinated, then we have a better chance of like putting this out of the visibility. It's not going to be in the forefront of our lives. But right now, stay positive, stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, go back to where you were when this first started back in early 2020. Wear your mask, double mask, wear your gloves again, wipe things down that you bring from the grocery store before you use them. Use your sanitation items that you've purchased, repurchase them, stock up. Don't go crazy. Just stock up on them again. There's plenty out there, your sprays and your disinfectants, and just start using them and just be careful. Stay 6 feet. Don't have huge gatherings in your home, especially involving those who've not been vaccinated. You just don't want to put yourself at risk. So stay safe out there. Time now for my truth. Summer weddings. I had a segment back in June that talked about weddings that occur in June because that is like the month of the year that a lot of people really want to become married in. And I started thinking about a couple of things, and that is, what about May, December weddings? And what about vice versa, with women being much older than their groom? How does that work? I mean, do you really think that that works? I mean, that people are genuinely happy? Or I'm thinking it could be just a lot of different reasons why people marry older, much older. With men, I think after they have had some significant successes in life and they are very comfortable when it comes to money, they may even had a failed marriage when they were younger because maybe it didn't work out because the spouse, got tired of them not having money. They were struggling because money is one of the biggest reasons that people divorce. Finances, lack of communication, intimacy, So, yeah, May December marriages, men being 20, 25, 30, or even older than their bride. Does that really work? I don't think so. I think, and I know that from what I've read, the stats and so forth, that the older a man is than his bride, the less chance of a successful long term marriage. One of them being that if you're 20, 25 years older than your bride and you live together 20 years, say she's 25 and you're 50, 20 years, that makes you 70. You know what I mean? And, you know, you can just die. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Or the intimacy can't happen anymore because of the obvious age. And then sometimes a woman, after 10 or 15 years, if you're 30 years old and you're marrying someone 55 or 60, the intimacy is a factor. Then again, you don't have a lot in common that really keeps a marriage together. Commonalities, things that you can enjoy together. When you're much older, even if this is a female and you have a younger groom, 20, 30 years age difference, and you've been together 15 years or whatever, things are not going to work out. That's just how I feel. And what do I mean by they're not going to work out? What do you have in common if there's a 2025 age difference? 20-25 year age difference. What do you really have in common? Music? Not really. Life experiences? Not really. Anything that you could have done in your past is going to be totally different than your spouse's experiences, right? So the things that the commonalities, the things that you enjoy in life that you could do together or you have memories of, they probably aren't or didn't happen in the first place, because if you're 25, what you did or what you do, going out, hanging out with your friends, video games, and those kinds of things, your spouse that's 50, 55 years old, for example, didn't have those things. So he's probably, or she, maybe doing things that are more chilled and you're still wanting to go out and have a good time and even sports. You can't go skiing or rollerblading or whatever it may be, surfing. When you're older, you just don't want to do all those active things. Sometimes you do, but typically, if you're 60, 65 years old, male or female, and you have a spouse that's in their 20s or 30s or even in their early 40s, you can't keep up with them physically. And that's most people, but there are always exceptions to the rules. So my thinking is, a lot of times men marry younger women because they're a trophy. Let's just face it, they're a trophy, or now they can afford to have this beautiful bride because they have the money. And that's what attracts the female in the first place. So just don't get it twisted. Just realize that and realize that after 10 to 12 years, that bride may have lost interest in you, and that's it. And then there's the divorce. And the same thing if it's a female and a young guy, you know what I mean? What drew you together, the fun, the money, the excitement, 5 years even or longer, it's not going to be the same. And the longer you're with that person, the more you're going to realize that, in my opinion, that you're incompatible. There's not going to be a lot that you're going to enjoy together. Whereas if you marry someone closer to your age, 2, 3, 4 years, age difference, then you can grow old together. And those things that are not as important, you both realize those things are not as important because we're good friends and we still have a lot of memories. And the things that we both enjoy now are just chilling, laid back, watching movies, taking long walks. And I think that's what's missing when you have a huge age difference. You don't have a lot that you can share, commonalities. So you might want to think about that, people, men and women, about marrying someone that is 20, 30 years your junior, or you're 20 or 30 years older than you. Just flip it, because data says it's not going to work. The more years that you are apart in age, the less you have chances of that marriage working out. It's just not going to. Yeah. So you might want to think about that. And again, this is just my opinion. I've been reading about it, and a couple of people have told me that they're going to be getting married, and I'm like, wow, this is your spouse to be. And I try not to show my shock, because you know what? I'm not being judgmental. I'm just being a realist. If you have 25 years age difference, it will be good for a few years, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years. But the older the both of you become, you're going to realize that that is not a good thing. You know, it wasn't, So I just feel, just wait and find someone that's closer to your age, or just wait until you're 40 and you both have money, and then you can find whoever. But, these maid summer marriages, the woman is marrying this older guy because he has tons of money. And then you're 25 and he's 60 or whatever, for an example. Wow. Yeah, really. Come on. And that's my opinion, and that's my truth. This week's episode is part 2 of my conversation with the amazing Kristal Niechelle Corbitt. her story from tragedy to triumph of losing her daughter and how that has really lit a fire within her soul to do something more amazing that you can ever imagine after losing a child. And she's going to be speaking more about what she's actually doing in the community and some of the amazing accomplishments she has made. Also, she's going to be talking to you a little bit about her upcoming book. Continue listening.
To me, I'm not purchasing it. So no, I'm not going to give them the last day bread. I'm not doing that. I don't do stuff like that. And so, and then on a week later on Valentine's Day, we had chocolate covered strawberries and a dinner with the women at the women's shelter. And so we just wanted to show, just share with them. And it was a special dinner. We went all out for this dinner. And so same thing, all the donations that come in from the community. It's an opportunity for people to be able to give back. And what I've learned is people actually do want to give back. They just want to be able to know that they're giving back and it's actually giving back and not being, they're not being taken advantage of or their money is not being used, for something that it shouldn't be used for. So I don't videotape when we do it, but everyone's more than welcome to come. Oh, you can see it.
Right.
And so if I say we're doing 200 meals, we're doing 200 meals.
Wow.
So come on out and help. I'm always, hands in and everything. And so, but we do things like that. Last year we had sundresses and sandals. And what we did is we pulled sundresses out of our closets and sandals. And we took them to the homeless shelter. It's hot outside. We wanted them to feel good and feel pretty too. And some of them got their makeup done and different ways how to wear their hair up or whatever it was. And so we just showed them some things. And then the week later, we went to the men's shelter. We had basketball shorts and briefs, okay, because they were asking for underwear. So we wanted to do that. And so those are the things that we do. We have another part of Kemi Cares Kids. And so every Christmas, we do something. Kemi Cares Christmassy Christmas. And then we have the Kemi Care Kids game night on Halloween. We don't celebrate that. We don't want to be tricked or treated. We just want to have a good time. And I want it to be safe, but I also it's my opportunity to share with the kids about the word of God and about relationship with the word of God. If folks are waiting on the devil to attack their children when they turn 18, then they miss the ship because he's not waiting on them. He's not waiting. And so that's why some of these children are going through the things that they're going through. So it gives me that opportunity. Then we have the Kemi Cares Connection, which is a youth Bible study that's ran by my sister. And she has a way with children. And I mean, when I tell you they love Bible study, and I mean, they do their homework. When you can get one of my kids to my youngest son, to be exact, I mean, he's like, Mom, are we not having Bible study today? I'm like, not today because my sister's out of town. He's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I'm like, go play that PlayStation that you held me all week for, And so they, they really, really love it. And she has a way with children. And by all means, let's keep it growing. And also we're opening up, we have 4 houses. I have 4 houses, 4 properties. And we're opening up Kemi Care cottages. They will be emergency housing.
Wow.
They will be fully furnished because over the years, what I've learned is people really, really need some help. You do have people who are out here using you, but there are people out here who really need you to take them by the hand because they don't understand what's available to them. And you got to take them by the hand. You got to say, hey, listen, this is how you do this. Some people have never even understood what budget meant. Some people don't even understand. So our thing is to try to avoid them from going back out there to the homeless shelter. We're going to have hard times. Whether you're on Team God or Team Devil, you're going to have hard times.
Right.
But what I've learned, because I've actually recruited for both, played both sides, what I've learned is it's much easier going through with God than it is when I was working for the devil. Plus the end result working for the devil equated to death. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's a spiritual death. I can't afford to go back there because if I go back to that, then the devil torments and taunts me that my child is no longer here. Then that's when I allow him in here, and he tells me, it's your fault, Mom, because you had her at 16 and you didn't know what you were doing and you never listened to anybody. So you start taking in that stuff. But as long as I'm within the boundaries, whispers, I don't hear him. And even if he does whisper them, I know who I am now. I know I'm a child of God, and I know that what he says, he's a liar and he can't speak truth. But I would never know that if I hadn't tried to get closer to God by reading his word. How can you get close to? No one can truly know me unless they watch my lives. You won't truly know me unless I open up my mouth and I tell you. So here God has written a book, which I'm also writing a book titled I Said I Do at 42, because I want to talk about things that people don't talk about. I want to, everybody's in marriages and they show you pictures, but listen, they're not really, a lot of people are showing you what they want you to know. But I was ignorant in the whole marriage thing because I thought as soon as I got married, all of my problems would go away. So I didn't even know what that even entailed in being a wife. So what did I do when I became a wife? I did the exact same thing when my daughter passed. I got closer to God and started reading and studying more about marriages within the Word of God, so that I can understand how to be this wife that God wanted me to do. Actually, what God is preparing all of us to do, because there's a great feast up there waiting on us. There's a wedding already waiting on us, right? So I want to start now so I can get prepared. We're super excited because God has poured so very much into me within these past 2 years that I said I do. And it has not been easy, and so but as a child of God and a minister of the word of God who does weddings, who does minister couples, who does counsel couples, how else am I going to be able to counsel them if I don't know, And so I'm learning and I'm growing with people, and we're kind of in this thing together. So I'm very, very appreciative of the assignment God has given me. And it hasn't been the easiest assignment. They're doable, but not the easiest, No one, I'm sure, Miss Linda, you don't want to switch places with me. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because then you would have to go through what I've gone through. You get what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So folks don't fully understand, what a person goes through. They just kind of try to look at how people receive you. Oh my God, Miss Kristal, you're so light, or and it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I wake up every morning without fail. I wake up and I'm like, wow, she's really gone. That's usually the first thing I say. Outside of saying, thank you, Lord. It's like, she's really gone, So
that has to be very difficult. And as you said early on, your strength comes from your connection with God. And if you did not tap into the strength that only God can give you, and this is your journey, this is your pathway. If you hadn't tapped into God for being who God is in your life and what he means to you, I can see that you wouldn't have made it. I see that you pour everything into your spirituality with God. And I want people to understand that this is something that is genuinely works for her and can work for so many other people as well, because you have to have something greater than here, something outside of you when you have a tragedy such as what she has experienced in her life. I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine that. But all I can say is that I want you to keep on keeping on and keep on giving hope and hold on to who you have become, because through that tragedy, you are a miracle. You are a miracle, because what you're doing now, as I stated earlier, what you're doing now in the community, and now you're bigger than your community. Like you said, because of Facebook Live that happened right at the time that your baby was transitioning. It's just, things don't happen just because they happen. I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason, and sometimes it's divine intervention. Absolutely. For this to be able to be for you as a tool at that time, that point in time in your life. And you have taken this tragedy and you have triumphed over it. And you're doing so much. You have touched hundreds and hundreds of women and men, boys and girls in your community. And you're going beyond that. I'm so excited for your book. I said I do at 42.
42.
When do you think that that's going to be finished? When do you think you're going to have that published?
I'm learning that this is going to probably have to be a series, because because I'm constantly in this marriage, so I'm constantly writing. I'm going to have to do it that way, but I didn't know that at first. I was thinking, okay, I want to put it out at least by my birthday, which is October 11th. But that's my goal.
Right.
My goal is to have it finished and out by my birthday, October 11th. So at least part one.
Okay, part one. Yes. And I can't wait for this series, because I know, and you guys, you hear how dynamic she is when she's speaking. She has a lot inside of her. So you have to stay tuned for a lot more coming from Miss Kristal here. I said I do at 42, and I know there's a lot of people out there that can identify with this, male and female.
Absolutely.
Getting married at this point in time in your life and having a book like this, it's going to be a plus for you. So make sure you guys.
A lot of women was like, oh my God, I want to get married. But they didn't know and they didn't know what marriage entailed. I didn't know. So it's just like being a new mom. You don't know anything until you become the mom. You can be pregnant for the 9 months, but until that baby is born, until you have up at 3:00 in the morning, have fed this baby, burped this baby, changed this baby's diaper, and made sure this baby is warm, and this baby is still crying, you truly do not know what motherhood is until you get to that point.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Same thing with being a wife. We don't see a lot of marriages anymore. Within our families. I am the only woman married in my family right now, the only one. And now I can see why I'm the only one. And so I got closer to God to understand. We started off extremely rocky and having no guidance, because my mother passed away. Let me say that. My mother passed away 3 weeks before I said I do. 3 weeks. 3 weeks before I said I do. And my mother was never married. But I didn't have anyone, my grandmother's gone, everything, so I didn't have anyone in my family who I could go to understand what are we going through. I thought this man loved me. I thought we were okay. When we said I do, this is it. Everything's, it's going to be perfect. What's going on? And so God started showing me not only things about him, but he was showing me. Because I thought I was perfect in this. I'm like, okay, Lord, I have a relationship with you, and you have changed and made a wonderful change on the inside of me. And God was like, I didn't change you. You changed you. Mm-hmm. I offered you change. I showed you what you could do. I showed you this side over here. You accepted it. You had to put on courage to walk through that, to make the change. Because God says, I don't do that. I don't change anybody. I stay the same. So you have to change. You have free will. And yes. So when I and God was showing me, and I was like, because I thought I was perfect. And then you gave me this imperfect man, I thought. And God was like, baby, y'all both are imperfect, So he started showing me. So once he started showing me, and I started making changes, then my husband started making changes. Then he started showing me scripture to live by, because I didn't have that guidance from anybody else. And I was afraid, because, everybody says, keep folks out your business. Well, the thing is, married people need married people. And you should be able to go to someone who has an unbiased love for both of you all. And so to be able to help guide you, to help be what they want you to see. Me and my husband, on our second anniversary, which was in February, and we went down to Vegas, and let me tell you, we took pictures. It's the funniest thing. We took some pictures on our anniversary day, and we posted them. And about like 800 people just liked them. Happy anniversary. Yay, you guys did it. What folks don't know is hours before that and hours after that picture, we weren't even talking to each other. I just told him and reminded him, it's our anniversary. We need to take this picture. We need to post it on Facebook because, folks are going to be expecting to say happy anniversary to us. And so we took these pictures. And now I'm telling you, we put on a show with these pictures. And right after we finished the pictures, I'm like, well, I'm going downstairs. You stay up here. He's like, you want something to eat? I don't want anything that you have. You know what I'm saying? So, but folks wouldn't know that. And
Right.
So I know we were able to do that. The countless other people are able to do it too. And hey, because folks don't show you what's real.
Mhm.
Well, at this point, God says, Kristal, I need you to show them what's real, how to hang in there. Because that's the thing. People, you all are soft. You give up too easily. You understand? Somebody don't do something you like. That's why the divorce rates are so high.
Right.
And folks don't even understand that marriage is called obedience.
Yes.
It's obedience. At the end of the day, it's obedience. It's not what I thought, and I thought, I was going to be happy and everything. You should have been happy before the
Come
marriage.
on.
Happy trusting God. Happy trusting. You understand that, the things that he puts together can't no one separate. So the thing is God builds up an endurance, which is why perseverance is one of the fruit of the spirit, which is what we have to increase in. Well, if you look at the word perseverance and endurance, then you'd understand that's not a very comfortable position.
Mhm.
That's not like savor. You don't endure a cheesecake. You eat that cheesecake and you savor it,
Right.
So, but to endure it means that it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be things that you don't understand today, but you will,
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so God just shares so much. And so many people ask me, and I've counseled and I've done so many weddings. And so I thought, you know what, Kristal, folks need to know the truth. Let's talk. Let's sit down and talk. Because maybe, just maybe, they're thinking the way you used to think. And just maybe you can help them avoid going downtown to file for divorce. Because the thing is that you can't stop what you didn't start.
Mm.
And when God starts a thing on the inside of you, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Because he says, I know the thoughts and the plans I have towards you. I know
Mhm.
you don't know.
Right.
So my husband and I, we are in this, we're in our honeymoon phase to me now, because now we had our aha. Oh, that's what we were supposed to do. So we're in our honeymoon phase now. And because the first 2 years were so rocky.
Yeah,
but
I
we
get
had
that.
to learn them.
Yeah.
So if we didn't learn them, I like Miss Linda, I can tell you about this place that I eat this cheese. I don't really eat cheesesteaks, but I love this place called Paradise Keys. I eat cheesesteaks there, okay?
Mhm.
Because I don't really eat cheesesteaks, but I went there and got a cheesesteak. I can tell you about their cheesesteaks because I've had it.
Mhm.
But if I've never eaten it, I can't send you there. You get what I'm saying? So
Yes,
a lot
I
of things
do.
that I am sharing with other people as I'm counseling. So now I can make the connection. Oh, that's why we had to go through that. So that I would be able to explain how I got out of that or how we got through that, And so so I'm grateful. But and it's rough. It gets rough, but we're faithful.
Yeah.
We're faithful. And that's all God asks.
Right. Kristal, you have been absolutely amazing. Your story, your
Thank you.
journey, where you have come from, where you are right now, your tragedy to triumph.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing. I know it was not easy to go back and relive that and just to tell my listeners about it. And I know that it has been such an inspiration for those that have gone through or actually going through and experienced in something like that. And thank you so much. And I want you to come
Thank
back.
you for the opportunity.
You have to come
Yes,
back.
ma'am.
This is not enough. This is not enough. I want you to pour into my listeners more and more. So I'm going to have you back in a while when your book is about to be launched. I want you to come back and talk about that and some of the other wonderful things you are doing in your community and how you're expanding and going out like a flower buddy. So thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you so much for having me. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
That's it for this week, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question or comment about this episode or any episode, just send me an email to asklindaj@gmail.com. Remember, stay focused, be inspired so that you too can join the ranks of They Made It Happen.